Mr. Greenlee, I'm looking at your recent book here, Baghdad Blues. You want to tell me a little something about it?
Yeah, that's autobiographical. It's set in Baghdad in 1958. That was my first post as a Foreign Service officer with the United States Information Agency. And it pretty much is exactly as it occurred, due to me and two close Arab friends. One named Ali, who was a Shia, and the other, Jamil, who was an Arab of African descent, who was a Sunni. So they didn't get along.
I know they did.
But I got to the street people through Ali, who operated a small grocery store, and I got to know the intellectuals and radicals through Jamil, who was had been educated at Denver University.
And you consider them radicals of what? Like that? Because you were in another setting, you were in Baghdad. So radicals of what?
Well, you had two sets, and they would clash. You had the Iraqi nationalists,
Yeah.
and then you had the Baathists who espoused Pan-Africanism. The first revolutionary, Abdul Karim Qasim, was the colonel of an armored brigade, and he was the first in command of the revolution. The revolution lasted less than 24 hours. Qasim was later killed by his second in command, who was a Baathist. And then later on, several years later, Saddam Hussein emerged. He wasn't even in the country on July 14, 1958. He was in exile in Egypt. But he came in and he had an ability to anticipate who the next ruler was going to be. Until finally one day he called all of the head men into a meeting and had them taken out and shot. So that he was a sole man in charge. He was ruthless, man.
So Baghdad Blues by Sam Greenlee.
We have a call on line one. Calvin, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead, Calvin. What's your question or comment?
Go ahead now.
Yes, you good.
And
Yes,
you get some zoo tickets too.
Just hold on the line after you ask your question or your comment, and our producer will take your information.
Okay, you're coming in a little bit soft. I can hardly hear you.
All right, go ahead with your question though, Calvin. Or
I'd
comment.
just like to commend Mr. Greenlee on his movie back in the day. It was a great eye-opener, and it gave hope, and it was something to make everybody think and to, look for something better. It was a movie of hope and self-determination, the way I was looking at it at the time. And it was just a great idea and a great idea of hope.
Well, thank you, Calvin. I think what set the Spook Who Sat by the door from other books of that time is they were full of rhetoric. And the Spook Who Sat by the Door is how-to book.
Very true.
It was
Very
definitely.
I didn't just talk about revolution, I talked about how to do it.
Sure.
And that's what made me dangerous.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna flip this, okay? Because I know we have an in-studio guest, but I'm gonna flip it. So
Show your Republican side.
I'm not Republican, I'm a Democrat, okay? But I'm gonna tell you. So say you have everybody working on the same page, and to not do something as violent as that, such as education, making sure everybody goes to school, make sure everybody goes to college, goes to med school, law school, business school, or something like that. That wouldn't be a bad thing either. And that's what I took out of the book. And that's the point, is that you can take out of the movie, you can take a lot of things out of this movie. You can say, well, after I see this movie, I'm going to go try and get as many people as I can and start robbing banks and start shooting the police. But that doesn't work.
We don't
obviously.
suggest
We know that, and we don't suggest that. I know,
Well,
and I'm sure you don't suggest that either.
If that threat hadn't been existent, none of the civil rights pluses would have occurred. Okay, it was people like the Deacons for Defense, the original Black Panthers,
Right.
the Black Panther Party,
That's right.
who were the iron fist and the velvet glove of nonviolence.
Correct. I agree.
And given the alternative between attempting to deal with King and others and dealing with Stokely and Huey, they chose to deal with King. So all of the achievements, which open up huge opportunities that never existed before. There are people who claim that the civil rights movement was ineffectual. It wasn't. We made history back in the day.
Well, I mean, I clearly think, personally, I think there's no way I would have been able to go to med school without some of the opportunities that were given to me, and I'm sure Pete knows what I'm talking about and has the same type of situation. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the point of the movie, one of the biggest points of the movie is that putting our resources together, some of the unlimited opportunities that we have when we do that. That's what I took out of the movie. What do you guys think? Now, I know, Murray, you may have a little different thought about it. I mean,
I can't even say how I really feel on that. But, I mean, one of the key points definitely is education. You can't do anything without education. The second thing I love about the movie is not giving up on the young brothers, not giving up on the so-called thugs and gangbangers. If you give them some knowledge and teach them to do something, they'll be soldiers for this war for revolution. And that's the, and it's a revolutionary movie, so I love it. It's a classic.
And it defines on it.
Well, the gangbangers knew me. I used to see them on the street. One time I was walking down 63rd Street, and there were 3 stones taking up the whole sidewalk. And so I was determined I'm going to step out the sidewalk.
Right.
And as I approached, they opened up and said, "Let the spook on back." Yeah, that was one, man.
I think there's a need to reach out, and I would love to see the younger brothers get a modern day message of this. I mean, almost like have, Common, Idris Elba, all them play the roles that those actors play, so they can get a vision that their lives are greater than what they think it is.
Well, the invisible males in our society are not gangbangers. Okay? They're productive, hard-working citizens. And 1.25 million of them are going to colleges and universities. We got more people in universities today at any time in the history. And the sisters are down front. So they outnumber black males 2 to 1. And outnumber them in terms of graduation. So the brothers got to step forward, and catch up to the females. But we got the same amount of black males in college as we do have in prison. So that's a yin and yang. And we can't afford to ignore the achievers among us and spend all of our time concentrating on the thugs and the ones who've fallen through the cracks. We got to praise one and try to reform the other.
Well, I know that your movie needs to. What did you want to go?
No, go ahead.
I know your movie need to be shown to some of the younger generation so they can definitely get an idea, because I think it's very thought provoking.
Yeah, Dr. Thomas is asking for maybe a remake, a part 2 version. I guess is what he's trying to get.
I mean, has anybody ever approached you like that and said we want to?
Yeah, they all want updated, and I'll turn it down. I agreed to, because like I said, it would be sci-fi fantasy. Ain't no gangbangers today gonna be starting a revolution. Come on.
You'll have
They're part of the system.
But it may not be.
Crypto-capitalists.
Crypto capitalists.
Yeah.
I like that.
You're not giving up on the young brothers though. They're still the sons of mothers, and still the brothers that still on the street.
I deal with the ones I think I can help, and ignore the ones I can't. And I don't concentrate all my time and energy on observing the anarchistic activities of thugs and murderers.
Gotcha.
I talk to their cousins and their brothers and their sisters who've chosen not to go that route. Now, you've got to understand, gangbangers are a small minority in any given community.
Right.
Although they get the majority of the media press. They love to show the worst of us, you know.
Absolutely.
And irony is we go for the scam too. We see as much of that negativity in the Chicago Defender as we do in the Sun-Times or Tribune. And if we don't praise and encourage those people to continue doing what they're doing, then we're in trouble.
That's good. Well, everyone, this is Project Brotherhood Power Hour. We're at 773-928-9230. We're on Facebook. We'll be on Twitter soon. We have a website, www.projectbrotherhood.net. Right about now, I think we're going to go to the health tips by Dr. Thomas.
Let me make this.
Hold on.
Let me make this one point. Some people see a glass as half full, others as half empty. I see it as both half full and half empty.
Elaborate on that, brother.
I mean, if you don't balance the negative with the positive among us, you're in trouble. And you're doing their job for them. Because they're never going to offer praise where it's due. All you got to do is look at mass media. See how we're portrayed on so-called news shows. See how we're portrayed in films. Okay? About the only brother out there who's making films that I have some respect for is Ice Cube. You know, that film Barbershop was a little gem. You know, he made Barbershop 1, Barbershop 2. And he does some solid, warm, affectionate portraits of who we are as a people. I'm disappointed in John Singleton. I had big hopes of him after he made Boys in the Hood. But he's sold out. He's turned into a hoe. And,
Can we say that on the air?
All right, we're going to
I hate to cut in, but we only have like a minute left. So, Mr. Greenlee, how can people get in touch with you to get your movies, your books, get your pens out? So he's about to give you the valuable
okay, I'm going to give you
information.
my number, and if you didn't write it down, I'm listed. Okay? Sam Greenlee on 61st and Kenwood. 411 will get me. Now, my address is 6146 South Kenwood Avenue, KENWOOD. Apartment 207, 60637.
That's to get the movies, speaking engagements, to talk to them, whatever.
And we want to appreciate everyone for listening this Sunday. We will be back next Sunday. We want everybody to hit us up on our website, www.projectbrotherhood.net. Like us on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. Subscribe us to Project Brotherhood TV. We will see you next Sunday. Please join us again. Thank you.
Invite me back again. I have had a ball in here.
That was great. That was excellent. I commend you on your work.
Real good.
Oh,
you know,
man.
I used to do a talk show on VON.
Is that right?
Oh, wow.
I
So,
put it
yeah.
on the air. They kept me.
Hey, how much of a book?